Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to another Relationship Thursday. Welcome to another Relationship Thursday. My name is Ayize Ma'at. And I'm waiting for the missus. So y'all know we're gonna be talking about this tonight. Y'all saw the topic. The title is how to deal with a partner that's annoying as fuck. That's what the topic is tonight, y'all. How to deal with a partner that's AF. And so as I wait for the missus, who is not here on time tonight, I'm sitting next to an empty seat. And again, I'm gonna be discussing this evening, especially when she comes over here to the table. But we're gonna be getting into this, y'all. So please let me know right now where y'all are tuning in from. Drop a line, let me know where y'all are tuning in from. I'm gonna go ahead and share this. And as you come in, please share the video as well. Please share it as well. You know, my wife and I, we had a conversation probably at around about 6:30 this evening, y'all. 6:30. Okay, I see we got Tallahassee in the house, Paris, Texas, Hampton, VA. What's up, Hampton? We had a conversation earlier this evening. What I said to my wife, she was like, I'm not really feeling like doing it. I'm not really feeling like doing the live stream tonight. Can we just, have some cuddle time on the couch and maybe watch a movie? And I said, cool. But I was also at the same time too, like, we got some information that we want to share. So why don't we still do it and then cuddle afterwards? My wife was like, nah, let's compromise. How about we do a shorter version? We ended it in about 30 minutes. What's up, Bruce? We ended in about 30 minutes and then we cuddle afterwards. And I said, cool. So I said, we can do the 30-minute segment as long as you get here and show up at 9 o'clock. Y'all see what time it is, right? It's 9:04. It's 9:04 and I'm sitting here by my damn self. 9:04. And so as she gets ready, and as I sit here and log in and share the video, and again, if you have not shared already, please go ahead and do so. I'm going to go ahead and wait because she got some explaining to do. She said 30 minutes. I said show up at 9. Let's see who's going to win this battle right here. Yeah, Tanisha, CPT. It's a constant thing, and it's going to be one of the things that I'm talking about tonight. The annoyingness of not being on time. And she laughing in the background, but I'm slightly irritated. Hey, what's up, Kansas? Kansas City in the building, Las Vegas, checking in. What's up, La Crystal? As y'all are tuning in, let me ask this question. How's everybody's week been? If you can give an emotion, how has your week been thus far? I would say for me, it's been unstable. Yeah, it's been emotionally unstable. And the reason why I'm lifting that up is because, just based off of some of the things that the missus and I do, the work that we do in reference to couples and individuals, like, it takes a toll on you. It definitely takes a toll on you. It's taxing and it's the burden that we choose to carry because we recognize that there's value in what it is that we have to offer. But at the same time too, you got to take time for yourself. Oh, Danny says emotionally unloved. Nita says a roller coaster. Coco Nicole says same here. Alimu says blessed and slow. Did you just bring that for yourself?
You want some? Do you?
I said about an hour ago that I was hungry. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but you be saying that you don't want to eat on live
I'm
stream.
starving though, man.
Oh, okay. I got you.
We got some stuff to talk about tonight. Charlicia said mentally draining. Yeah, so it's been a emotionally unstable week for me. Not to the degree to where I felt unhinged, but to the degree to where my emotions were pulled in several different directions based off of dealing with different things. And it comes with the territory. So don't take it as a situation where I'm like, just dumping on y'all. But what I'm doing. Can you be if you can't talk from over there?
I'm just saying you qualified. You know what people do.
If you're going to participate, you need to be sitting next to me.
I am going to be sitting next to you. I'm just saying. Ta-da! Shut up. What's going on, guys?
So again, y'all, my name is Ayize, my aunt, and this right here is my late ass wife, Fiona, my aunt.
But you love me though.
I do love you. I do love you, but I'm annoyed.
You at this point,
I should be used to it.
and it's not that doesn't mean like, oh, just like get over it. I'm just saying like, I do the best I can. All you've been focusing on this evening is what? Let me listen to the mic. Since you come back in the house, you've been focusing on what? Getting us set up.
I know, but also went out the house to go get out.
No, I'm saying since you've been back in the house. I know. I mean, I can say what I've been doing. We both been doing stuff all day long, right? Back to back, right? You know what I'm saying? We out the house, we doing work, we going to work, we dealing with the children, right? We doing stuff, right? So that's all day long. But since you've been back in the house, you've been focused on this. Since I've been back in the house, you come over, you sit down over here at the computer, and you start doing stuff. And what am I doing? I'm getting the dinner.
What was the agreement?
Right? I'm attending to my children. And then I'm trying to be over here. So I just want to highlight that it's easy to become frustrated and disturbed, right? But you ain't making no dinner. You waiting for me to bring you some chicken, right? So I'm just saying. What's going on, Fine 29? Hey, Tanisha, we see you. So yeah, tonight we thought we would just keep it 100, right? You in your feelings now?
I'm not.
Why you look over at me all slow like that? Like, what's the deal? Huh? Why you look like that?
Let's go get this thing rolling.
Yeah, we thought we would keep it 100 tonight, right? And we would talk about all of the things that come with the territory of being in committed relationship, of being in love, of being with somebody who gets on your last nerve, and yet they irritate and agitate you in just the right way. And, some of us have partners who are particularly annoying and particularly, just agitate the right parts of us at the right time. And we just all messed up because of it. I think I probably consistently challenge this brother because I'm not the most timely person. I can't help it if I'm connected to my ancestors. In time,
Really? So that's how we're going to justify this stuff.
Cyclical.
That's how we're going to rationalize this stuff.
Why do we rationalize?
You ain't never late, huh? You ain't never late.
I'm always on time and in time. Even though it may not be based on the clock that we deal with today. No, real talk though. I mean, that's something that's always been a challenge for me, and I know that it's frustrating for you at times. And real talk, I do want to get better one day. I just ain't focused on it yet.
Okay.
And I'm just saying I want to get better one day because that's the right thing to say, but I don't really know if I want to. But it is what it is. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about some annoying traits and annoying things of our partners and how to deal with it. All right. You ready?
Not quite.
Not quite? Point number 2. This is one of the annoying moments, when we're doing these live streams and when we're, we may be out presenting somewhere or doing whatever. We usually have a flow. So we'll bounce back and forth with each other and then my husband will just tap out. And even though I'm pretty loquacious, which means I like to talk and I know how to talk, I'll be like, hello, where you at? And he'd be like, I'm handling some things.
According to dictionary.com.
What? Now you got your thing. Look, it's defining loquacious for us. So tonight, I want to know what made you come on tonight. I just want you, before we get started this evening, the ancestors. People say CPT, but there's some real talk around how we look at time in terms of our tradition. Tonight, I want you to drop real quick before we get started. What are the things that, if you think about yourself and your partner, or perhaps, if you're not in a relationship, but you are, preparing yourself and you think about the things that really are difficult for you. Hey, what is it? I want to know. I want to know what it is that you're dealing with, what it is that perhaps you may be taking too seriously and you are elevating too much in your relationship. And you think it's this thing that, your partner needs to overcome or they need to, get through or deal with or whatever it is, right? And for real, we're about to free you. We're about to release you tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're about to give you a healing and let you know that some things are just what they are. Some things you have to recognize that when two people come together, in relationship with one another, some things just are going to be what they be. And our inability, my husband talked about this previously, our inability to increase our tolerance for frustration, really messes us up, because we want our partner to kind of get in alignment with us, or to, we have judgments and certain values about how things should be done. And what we tell y'all all the time is you might both have the same ideals, but your pathways may be different. And as much as you agitate one another, I'm sure, there's a lot that I could learn, what I'm saying, from my husband, a whole lot.
Yes, indeed.
And there's a ton he can learn from me, a ton, like a whopping ton.
Really?
Where's a yes, indeed? So, so we have to keep that perspective and really make sure that we pay attention into what we're dealing with in our relationships and what it represents. Sometimes we focus in on the specific thing that our partner does or how they flow, and we don't focus on the underlying thing that it revs up in us. Too often we focus on the particulars and we don't focus on the underlying issue. And so, for example, we've said this before and I'll say it again, when we see people in counseling, what we often do, which frustrates folks a lot of times, is we're looking for the themes. We're looking for where people are disconnecting, and we're looking for what the underlying issue is. You told me the story, you've broken it down, and then he said, and he walked out the room and he came back, and then she had the nerve to, and then she blah, blah, blah. And that's all good and cool. And you need to get that out. But real talk, that's not all that important. What's most important is to understand what the underlying themes are. What are the perceptions that are being had by the two of you, and exactly what is happening for the two of you when you all are agitating and irritating one another and are not able to really make room for the other person. And that's what we're looking for. So we're going to have some fun tonight, though. We're going to talk about some of these things. But then we also want you to recognize the difference between things that do need to be challenged, the things that do need to be faced head on, and then the things that are just, it comes to the territory of loving your divine compliment. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, y'all. So number one. So when it comes to your relationship, in terms of dealing with a spouse that's annoying as fuck.
Oh, you was going to say the whole word.
I am, because I'm annoyed. But I love you, though.
That's one of mine. I'm annoyed because you always annoyed. Let me wait till my time. Okay, go ahead.
So we'll double back to the timeliness in a moment.
You're going to be annoyed because I'm going to eat this chicken on here, too.
I don't care, because I got my chicken right now, too.
But let me just say this real quick. He has told me many times, don't be bringing food onto the live stream.
I did.
Don't do that. That's not, don't do that. But I'm tired and I'm hungry and I've been taking care of my business all day. I've been taking care of my kids. I've been doing work, right? And now we're here before you. I'm not about to sit here and wait until the end of this to eat. And guess what? I have impacted you a bit because you got some chicken in front of you too. And you ain't quite as pressed as you typically are.
Good.
Well, you got some chicken too. I want you to take that in because that'd be a big deal for you. All right, go ahead, baby. Number one.
All right, so number one, and this is really me humbling myself, but number one, y'all, it really pertains to how you see the situation. So the way you deal with a partner that's really annoying AF is to really shift your perspective, shift your perception of what's actually occurring, and really get up out of yourself. Get out of your perspective, your perception, and really embrace and really open yourself up to empathize with what their experience is. I mean, it's not pretty, it's not cute, but that's the reality of the situation. That, one way, it's not an easy way, because of course, when you're annoyed, like I could have sat here, and as I sat here on the live stream after my wife agreed to be here at 9:00, I could have sat here and went through the process of trying to empathize with her experience of being in the kitchen and making the food, and not really be preoccupied with the fact that I'm running upstairs, laying the baby to bed, and
that's only because I prompted you.
Get the kids and blah, blah,
that's
blah.
only because I prompted.
So I could have chosen not to focus on what I was doing and actually focus on what my wife was doing and give her kudos and applause for that, but I didn't. And so I was petty in that experience. But to rise above it,
you were what?
I'm not even saying I was petty, but to rise above it, rise above it, it's important that you think about the experience. And, oftentimes I do. But tonight, because we made an agreement, because you lifted up that you ain't want to do this, because you said
I ain't from feeling it.
Yeah, because you said that, and then I said,
What did I say? What did I say exactly?
We could do it for 30 minutes. And I said, we could do it for 30 minutes. We could do it for 30
What
minutes.
I want to do instead?
You want to cuddle and connect.
I want to connect with you.
Yeah. You could do it for 30 minutes if you show up at 9 o'clock. So again, make room for your spouse's perspective.
So I thought your first one was going to be my lateness. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
that was the issue.
I'll double back to that one.
All right.
So that's number one, y'all.
Well,
make sure you make room and empathize with your partner's perspective or what their experience may be.
What we supposed to be telling them tonight?
How to deal with a partner that's annoying as hell or annoying as fuck.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to, well, first of all, before I go to number 2 and go down the pathway of talking about some things you can do to cope and to deal, we're going to use personal examples to give you some context and so you can understand where we're coming from. But before we do that, I want to shout out my brother Bruce and my sis Fine 29. Bruce says we can listen to a lecture, some of the things that you all are dropping in the comments in terms of what's annoying. We can listen to a lecture, and she wants to talk all about she wants to talk about deep parts while it's still going. Annoys the hell out of me. And then he says she fine though. So that's like that person we talking in the movie. You're like, okay, yeah, like can we wait till later? And so, and then I love what our comrades, Marsha and Nawasha on that show, this is Marsha and Nawasha tonight, but they talked about, what if they never change that one thing? What if they never change it? And that's where we really want to take you all this evening, that there are some things about our partners that, that oftentimes are defined as core parts of their being, core parts of their personality. I do believe that we all have core parts of our being. I do believe personality is not fixed. I do think that we can shift and change our personalities over time. In the field of psychology, what the thought has been is that, personality is developed and solid and fixed once you hit young adulthood. And that's why, there are personality disorders, right? Because they say it's a disorder and now you got to figure out how to deal with that thing. I don't believe that. I do think that there is room for people to shift and change. But what I will say is that, at our core, we all have certain parts of us that are not just based on our upbringing and kind of how we flow based on what we've been exposed to. But I know that from the time some of my children were born, I've seen things in them. I'm like, where did they get that from? Mm-hmm. They just been here for like 2 seconds, and they have certain kinds of leanings, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, certain kinds of ways that they are in terms of their personality. And so I believe that some of that is bestowed upon us in terms of what the Creator gives us. And usually it is an asset, and it is also something that can be a vulnerability, and you got to be able to manage it. So look, y'all are funny. Y'all are giving some good comments tonight. And so, all right, I'm gonna read some of those comments on YouTube, babe, because maybe we can share some of people's comments. But number 2 here is this. I can say for sure one of the things about my husband that really annoys me is his.
Why are you going on me?
I mean, I said the way that I can kind of give the advice is to be able to talk from my own experience. I thought that's what we were doing tonight. Mm-hmm. You was just talking about me being late, was you not? Okay, so and that is definitely not just a one-time thing. For me, when I think about my husband, one of the things that annoys me about him, but guess what? Here's the example of how it's also a strength, is how at times. Preoccupied is too strong of a word, but I will say how focused he is on how other people feel and how other people think and what other people how they're doing. That thing now you might say, why does that irritate you? Why is that? Because that thing can come out in many ways that we're trying to flow and be in terms of our family life, in terms of our work life, because we're business partners, in terms of, him and his own endeavors that he does individually. And I'm like, like you're sitting up here and you're elevating the other person's potential perspective and all these different angles from multiple people and how they might be impacted. I'm trying to figure out when you're going to get your own back. That thing irritates me. I'll be talking to him and he'll be telling me about something. And I'm like, you done lifted up everybody else's need and I have not heard yours. Whoop, whoop,
So how do you deal with it?
I mean, and it really kind of, it makes me, because you've been like that for so long, and yet it is his strength, because a part of what I'm attracted to him is because he is so sensitive, and because he is very sensitive to me, and he's very perceptive and attends to me and to other people, to our children and that kind of thing. So it's a double-edged sword. But one of the things that I have been able to do, probably just within the last year to 2 years, 1 to 2 years, is to realize, because my husband's been very open. He said, I got a little codependence in me, right? You talked about that, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not a secret. So one of the things I've had to come to grips with is that's his path, that's his journey. So when he is dealing with a situation, and when he's sharing something, or I feel like, we're talking about the kids, or we're talking about whatever, and you're like completely out of pocket, you on the wrong path, dude, because you sitting up here, you're not coming from a balanced place. You're coming from a place of trying to fix somebody else, take care of somebody else, anticipate somebody else. And what we tell clients oftentimes, we want to make sure that clients have proper boundaries and aren't concerned about how we feel, or if we're going to feel some type of way. We say, look, I got me. I'll take care of myself. Don't worry about me. You're here to do your work. And so that's often what I want to tell my husband. Look, people can do their own work. You ain't got to be considering all these things. And yet, it's helpful in some ways. But something about that really, and it's not a surprise, because that's usually what it is in your relationship. It agitates me because there is sometimes persistent lack of getting your own back. Right. And being preoccupied with other people. And I want to hear you talk about yourself. When I ask you about what about you, you kind of stuck. Right. And I'm like, so because we've been together for a long time. So I have been able, and my piece of advice for everybody listening tonight who has found themselves, maybe it's not around an issue like this, but in any situation where you see your partner through a certain lens, and some things about them and their personality and how they be, right? And it really it blows you, or you're just like, what's the deal? Is to be able to get good boundaries. So what we know, and we just use this specific situation, is that if you have a codependent piece going on with you, and if he has that, then one of the things that, has to be learned is how to set boundaries for himself, right? So if I'm not, but one thing I know is that we also have a codependent dynamic that goes on sometimes. So if I'm all affected and all whatever, you know what? Maybe I need to set some boundaries, right? And not be so impacted, you know what I'm saying? And figure out how to, have my own sense of, well, that's how baby boo is dealing with it right now. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes some of these things that we really want our partners to get over and stop doing, or shift, or whatever, we would do better to focus on how it is that we can really tend to ourselves and allow them to be on their path and in their process the way that they need to be in it. Does that make sense to y'all? If it makes sense to you, let me know. Drop some hearts. Give me something. Because at the end of the day, really, it does him no good for me to be, right? He's got to be on his path, and he's got to have permission to be on his path and not feel judged the same way that I have to be in the same way. So make room for your partner. All right.
That's really important. That's really important. And so, another thing that you can do to deal with your partner's annoying habits is to possibly, now we've utilized this suggestion or recommendation before in our sessions, and sometimes it's helpful. Y'all might think that it's a lighthearted one, but it helps sometimes to get you through the day, especially when your partner got some annoying behaviors that are really irking that last nerve. But you make a cease annoying behavior agreement where you all trade off on annoying behaviors. And so essentially what happens is that there's something that your partner is doing that's annoying as hell. There's something that you're doing that's probably annoying as hell to them too. And so you all agree to cease that particular annoying behavior for a certain time period. And so, your partner gets what they want, you get what you want, and y'all might get some more of what y'all want in terms of the intimacy, the connection, because y'all not dealing or wrestling with the annoying behaviors. And so again, come to an agreement about what you can put down for a certain period of time and stop doing. And some things are automatic. Like, for instance, my wife, when we in the bed, I start to rock that left leg. I'm rocking a leg.
Hold up.
I'm rocking it. I mean, it's just it's.
You're not just shaking.
I feel like it's constant. I'm constantly exercising. Like I gotta swing the leg to rock the leg to. It's
when I go to sleep at night, I don't know if anybody else has been in the situation that I'm in pretty much every night. But when I go to bed at night, I go to the amusement park. Every time I go to bed at night, I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden the bed starts moving. And I'm like this, you know what I'm saying? And then I might start going really fast. And I'll slow down a little bit. You know, I mean, he shakes and it drives me crazy. And I've gotten used to it over time. I've gotten used to it. But sometimes I'll be like, boo, can you stop? Mm-hmm. You know, like I'm going to like throw up in a minute. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I can't take it, you know. So that right there, I mean, that thing, oh Lord, I just can't. I mean, it's my last nerve. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So something like that, exchanging something like that for, I don't know, if you got eczema, scratching, or whatever it might be. You know, it's
Are you trying to go on me and my eczema, youngin?
No.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't, baby.
See, don't try to hide it. Why would you bring that up?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this made me think. I mean, I'm saying I wasn't trying to go.
Okay.
So you know, doing
your kiss
exchange.
off.
Do a cease annoying behaviors. Your partner ceases one.
Was my scratching my eczema little patch on my foot bother you? You never said that. You don't like I be scratching like a little dog a little bit, don't I? Be like,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, but you exchange those things and you really just cease and you make an agreement, right?
Yeah.
And when you make an agreement, what that really encourages in the both of you is some empathy, right? Empathy for your partner. Because what we can do oftentimes is go to a place of judgment, even on this lighthearted stuff. The stuff that really comes out of our personalities, we go to a place of judgment and we want our partner to get it together. You know, one of the things this brings up for me is, the point I'm making is that we want them to get it together, but we don't necessarily have empathy to be able to see from their perspective, you know, what their experience is. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about this before, you know, that when my husband and I early on in our marriage and we got married not that long after marriage or whatever, you know, I'm not, you know, how do I put this? When it comes to keeping my house together and, you know, I see a little smile coming on your face and, you know, being Martha Stewart and not even Martha Stewart, just Martha, you know what I'm saying? Just half, not even the Martha Stewart, just Martha, you know, like when it comes to those kind of things, you know, that's not been my strength. And, you know, say it again. And so when we got married early on, we were young and married. You know, are we not young no more? I just said we were young and married.
I know.
My goodness. You know, hold on, this is the sidebar. Somebody dropped a comment on one of our YouTube videos not that long ago. It was like, I've been watching y'all for a long time, back when y'all was young, and y'all and still up till today. Y'all keep going.
Really, Joe?
I was like, we're not young anymore. We're a little bit seasoned. So anyway, you know, the whole piece around some of the expectations that come with being a wife, right? And some of those things, some of those are, you know, stereotypes. Some of those are societal expectations. Some of those are expectations that I have for myself. Some of those things are reasonable and some of those things are not reasonable, right? But at the end of the day, that was not you know, my husband was like, Dad, I knew you was kind of messy, but I didn't know it was like this. You know, and I was like, I was mad as hell, you know, feeling real judged and everything. And so that piece of me in terms of, you know, because it like all things connect, being on time, everything's nice and orderly, everything's nice and lined up, all that connects. Mm-hmm. That's not what I do. There's some things I can do with great precision. Mm-hmm. There's some things that I can do with great efficiency. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, yeah, I've gotten better over time, but I will say that my husband has typically been the lead. And so if he had just come from a place where he was like, what kind of wife are you? What kind of mommy are you? What are you doing? You're not keeping together. The house is not together and whatever. What he has done, I think, oftentimes, I will say, I think that you have not expressed yourself when you need to express yourself and you've been frustrated around some things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just like, well, if he ain't gonna say nothing, then I ain't gonna say. You ain't gonna, you come in the house, you frustrated.
So I'm frustrated?
I do. I mean, I think some of that is your own. It's a PP. You know what a PP is? It's a personal problem. Like, if these clothes right here sitting on the couch is frustrating you, or the fact that the island is not clean, and you come in the house and he just start walking around picking stuff up, and I'm sitting on the couch chilling with a glass of wine watching TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's a PP, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that because I work hard every day. Any of y'all
like experience that? Like,
and he don't say nothing. I'm like, I know it's something he want to say because it's a little messy in here, but he ain't said it. But I do appreciate the fact. So I do think that you could, again, I think I'm often looking for you to just, say what it is.
What do you want to say?
It doesn't mean that I'm going, I probably will on some level say, babe, that's not at the end of this day. And at the end of the day, I don't have, my value is not on the island being completely cleaned off. You know what I'm saying? That's just not who I am and who I've ever been. But if we need to negotiate on some things, we can do that, but I just want, because I'm going to tell you how I feel. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes you're not always as forthcoming. I mean, you know, where it really counts you are, but some things you just kind of you lay low. So what I'm saying though, ultimately is that what's been helpful for me is that early on, that was a vulnerability of mine, meaning that I felt some type of way about it. I was sensitive and, about like, how am I keeping my house and how am I doing things? And my husband was very sensitive to me. So what you have to always include is empathy. Mm-hmm. Empathy, because you can have certain expectations about what you want your partner to do or not do. Right. And at the end of the day, you can just put those expectations out there. But if you don't know where they're coming from, what they're dealing with, what their perspective is. Right. I've said before, I think I've said before, I know I have adult ADD. I know I got some ADD. Y'all know what ADD is, right? Attention deficit disorder. Attention deficit disorder is not just about, when we hear that, we a lot of times think about children, and we think about ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and we think about people who are restless, and we think about all of those kinds of things, and can't kind of maintain themselves. But attention deficit disorder, particularly in adults, has to do with our executive functioning, and our executive functioning is really about how the brain is able to bring together things and organize them. People with attention deficit disorder, just look it up, particularly adults, have been shown to be very good at being able to do things very last minute, being able to be very creative. They're usually very creative people. They're able to kind of come into a room and kind of, make things happen. But when you talk about planning, when you talk about some more long-term stuff, when you talk about having order that looks like a process that's in place, right? They're the ones who are going to execute it, but they may not necessarily be the ones who are going to plan the whole thing out and have all the details. And so that's one thing that I know about myself. And so if I'm that person and my partner, is like, what the heck, right? And I have to sometimes look up to my husband. I got ADD, right? So that's not an excuse, right? But I want you to understand that I'm not doing anything to try to, consciously agitate or irritate you. And low key, I be saying you do too. But anyway, I really think it's important for us to bring empathy into the equation, because when we bring empathy into the equation, we can challenge our partners to step it up some way. Because let me tell you, how many times have I heard my husband, he calls me like I'm on 228, I'm on whatever, I'm almost home, or I hit a garage and I'm like,
give a hint, trying to give a prompt,
he's whatever, and I'm like, oh, I might get up real quick. Let me put the pillows together. You know what I'm saying? Pick some things up off the floor, right? That stuff doesn't bother me, but it bothers him. So I try to pay attention to him. Then he will come in the house and things are a mess, right? And then there's times where he comes in and the things are, he'll say, oh, it looks good in here. And that's great. So there's a balance, right? There's a balance of me trying to lend myself to what's important to him and what soothes him when he comes home, but also not finding myself completely lost in the sauce.
I get it.
Does that make sense to y'all?
I get it.
Bruce said, Bina said, that's me. What's you? Okay. Oh, Erska. Okay. She said her husband has ADD.
So that's not necessarily a value of yours, but
Well,
to make sure that there's a certain amount of order in terms of the presentation prior to coming home, or you're very comfortable just in the mess. And that's what you function. You function in the chaos and the mess. And I mean, you pull it out. You do a damn good job of pulling it together and handling your business.
I function in the mess.
Like,
it really is true though.
Yeah, you're a rock star.
Well, and it has its bad things in its. I do a radio show every week.
Every Monday. Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of doing a radio show, while I'm over and I'm talking to a client, I'm thinking about the radio show topic, and then I'm thinking about what my kids got to do, and then whatever, like that. I can do that. Doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. It doesn't mean it's a good thing, but it has its strengths in terms of being. I can do that, and so I have to continue to work on the other piece. But I also know that there's some parts of that will never be manifested, because I will not be trying to manifest it, because I'm going to focus on my strengths, but I'm also going to focus on where I need to grow for you at the same time. So I feel like we don't
but it's a significant point though, because if you're like me,
Erska said my husband has ADD. Thanks for the info.
If you're like me, you're probably asking the question like, why doesn't it matter? Like, to see potato chips on the floor, like how many times you're gonna step over a pile of clothes?
I don't be stepping on no potato chips.
I know, but how many times you're gonna step over a pile of clothes? How many times you're gonna just leave something out and you see it's empty. Like, to put something back in the pantry that's, a box that's empty. I'm not saying that you do that, but.
Oh, no, that's the kids.
Yeah, but, it's just irritating. It's extremely agitating.
Tanisha says, I try my best to keep things tight in our home, but hubs could care less, so it can cause friction. Yeah, definitely. I'm going
to go ahead and share another annoying behavior.
Go right ahead.
That you got?
Okay.
Or that I'm annoyed by?
Yeah.
Does anybody here, any of the fellas, have an issue with earrings being left around the house?
You know what? And I really hope that I'm right, because I don't think dudes be that pressed. I think that's a particular, and this is going to lead me to my next irritation.
This Joan is a safety hazard.
Who?
For earrings to be so this is my line of thought.
Yeah, please break it down. And y'all be telling the truth.
Earrings have pointy ends. All right. Earrings, if they're on the floor and you step on them, they will hurt. Earrings, if left on the steps,
they don't be left on the
step on them, will hurt.
They be on the table down here.
Earrings, when you have a toddler, have the potential to have a negative impact on that toddler. Mm-hmm. If he picks them up and does something. I'm not.
Somebody said that's just you. That's just you.
I'm gonna make my point here.
You make a point, but
if you leave your earrings laying around and you have a toddler and the toddler picks up the earrings and they're a small little ball or whatever you want to call them, they can ingest the earrings, which they shouldn't do.
Right.
They can drop them on the floor and then you can step on them, or they can step on them, which would be an accident that you don't want to experience. And so again, like, why in the hell can't you just put your earrings where they belong? I don't understand that. I don't get that.
I want to hear from y'all.
Does anybody else have a problem with that?
This is what my husband, let's imagine.
And actually, this is my response, y'all. I've told my wife,
your girls.
I've told my two daughters,
I'm going to throw them away.
If I see earrings laying around, especially if I see them on the floor, they going in the trash.
They going in the trash.
That's my solution to the problem. That's how you deal with annoying as fuck behavior. You throw them joints away. And
I said, I wish you would. You better not throw my earrings away. I'm gonna get my daggone earrings. I wish you would. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes no sense. Because I just, so this brings me to my piece that I get irritated with him about.
Hey, but do y'all experience it? Am I the only one like that?
Somebody said, I don't see nobody in that joint.
Yeah, ain't nobody giving me no high fives, man. I mean, is that just me?
So the earrings may be on the end table in the family room.
Alimu said in the bed, it's a real problem.
Yeah, they don't be in a bed like that. They be on a nightstand. They might be down here.
Somebody said that's how you start a war.
A
war. That's how you start a war.
Clarify what you mean, because I know you don't mean that's how you start a war by no daggone earrings sitting on the kitchen counter.
It's the threat potential. Like it's my responsibility to protect.
Y'all hear this, man?
It's my responsibility to protect not just what's going on against what's going on what's outside the home, but also what's going on inside the home too. So I'm looking at what's going on outside, what's going on inside, and if I've assessed the situation to be potentially threatening to my children, to you and to me,
Yeah.
it's got to be addressed. And earrings laying out are a potentially threatening situation.
You feel that, John, too. I can tell.
I do.
You feel passionate about that. You know what? Let's go on ahead and segue to my next point of irritation. My next point of irritation.
You're supposed to be giving points of irritation. You're supposed to be giving solutions.
Okay, well, I'm going to go to the point of irritation.
So my solution was to throw them jumps away.
That's not a solution.
That is a solution.
That is not a solution.
That's a solution.
Because you better, and I tell you every time, you better not throw my earrings away.
When I throw them away.
That's what it is. You know, I have been looking for some earrings.
Don't leave them Jones out. Don't leave them out. But actually, today I picked up 2 and I put them on your dresser. I was nice today.
Where were they?
They were sitting right there on the arm of the couch. And they be flip-flopping all over the couch.
They're right there. Some right there.
No, it's not those.
There's some more right there.
I'm coming for those.
So one of the things that oftentimes agitates me about my husband is his hypervigilance. His hypervigilance. So to me, being fixated on earrings is a bit much. It's like there's a lot more going on in the world. You know, it's my job to protect our family. I'm like, dude, there's a lot more for you to protect us from than the earrings that are coming to get us.
You trying to minimize?
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not minimizing it. I'm keeping it 100. Like these earrings are not waking up in the middle of the night like they're earrings, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it drives me crazy. So all I'm saying is,
have you ever stepped on the earring?
Hold on. Have you ever stepped on the earring before? You don't step on the earring because they don't be on the floor like that.
But it's not
an issue like that.
One time
it doesn't matter. You just see an earring out and you like get triggered. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. But the point I'm making is that my husband is hypervigilant. What does it mean when I say hypervigilant? What it means is that it could be an earring. It could be a car outside, right? He could hear a noise. I mean, anybody ever had a German Shepherd as when you were a kid? Anybody had a guard dog? You know what I'm saying? And, they just like hear some noise outside and they're like, have you ever seen a dog and they go, I'm serious. And their head goes to the side and then they're like, stand up. He does that. He will be in the bed. He'll sit up like, you know what I'm saying? He'll be still and I'm like, boo. He'll be, shh. You know what I'm saying? He'll sit there for like 20 full seconds quiet. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll like get up and like look out. But while I'm also appreciative of the fact that my husband is a protector, that he pays attention to stuff, when we're out and about and when we're out on a date or when we're on vacation or we're doing whatever, like it's just like it comes up all the time where what I have learned, and this is my gift to you, my sisters, and maybe it's to some of my brothers, where your wife may be hyper vigilant and is always kind of like paying attention to the smallest of things, and you're like, dude, nobody cares about that. That's what you really want to say. No one cares. No one cares. Like, enjoy yourself and shut up. That's what you want to say sometimes. And so to not dismiss and disrespect him, that kind of thing. One of the things that I do is I'll just go, everybody try that together. Just wherever you are at home, wherever you are right now, just go, It's 3 nods and an and a look to the left. Right? Because you're engaging a little bit, and you let it go. I used to engage like, what are you talking about? No, I don't see what you're talking about. Don't you see what I mean? Right? No, I don't know what you're talking. And then we get into something. And so what you can do is you can validate your partner and just let them be who they be. Because one thing I know is that until the day I die, my husband will have that certain part of his personality where he's a little extra, a little pressed, a little hypervigilant, and focusing on things that nobody else is focusing on, so it is what it is. And so, you just have to make room. My making room is and I don't say a whole lot, and I just keep it moving, and meanwhile, I'm moved on to something else. So that's important. That's important. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's important.
All right. We're coming up on our last couple of, tips and advice for you this evening. If you're just joining us, we're talking tonight about how to cope and deal with your partner who may be annoying as AF, right? Really annoying. And this is normal. This is a part of what comes with the territory when you are in a committed relationship, that you're going to deal with some stuff and deal with some behaviors that, it's just a part of who they are. It comes to grow you, to teach you. And sometimes it's slam there to just irritate you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it other than learn how to cope with it. The other piece I want to say really quickly, and then my husband will pick up, is that you really want to make sure that you pay attention to how serious is this. Yeah, the old smile and nod. There you go. Yes, I love it. The old smile and nod, Yvonne. But you want to pay attention to how serious stuff is. Sometimes some of these small things about our personalities and that kind of thing, they can really start to sow seeds of discontent and distance between you and your partner when it really shouldn't get to that degree. And particularly when there are bigger things that you all have not dealt with or discussed, or there's, some greater issues going on, then those other things can start to become more magnified. And I think I said this in my last sister circle, that I saw online a checklist, so to speak, for kids. And it was a checklist that basically helped kids to emotionally kind of get in attunement with where they are and regulate what they're feeling, and then also figure out what they're dealing with. And what it did is it ranked stuff on like a scale of 1 to 10. And it had stuff on there. Think about a kid. It said like so-and-so cut in front of me at school, and then you could put a number next to it. Put it in a certain category in terms of, how much of an issue that is. I lost my homework and my teacher doesn't believe me. I got into a fight, right? It had all these different things. And then it put it into certain categories so that the kid could look at the paper and say, oh, that on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 7. Somebody is bullying me. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's an 8 or a 9, right? I can't find my pencil and I'm frustrated because so-and-so doesn't agree with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 3. So what my point is this: we have to figure out as adults, and particularly when we're in relationships, because when we're in these one-on-one relationships, we can get, I know for myself personally, really agitated and irritated by things that our partner does or doesn't do. And oftentimes we're connecting it to other things, like deeper stuff in the relationship. And it's just not that deep. It's not that serious. And we need to be able to figure out for ourselves, you know what, I'm acting or I'm feeling, it feels like it's a 7, but it's really a 2. Because it's really no reason for it to be anything other than a 2 or a 3. But I'm acting as though this is a 7. And so you just gotta
manage yourself.
Just be able to manage yourself and to figure out how important and how serious is this thing. And when you do that, you gift the relationship with chill. Right? Just some chill, it doesn't have to always be that deep.
So, another thing that you can do to deal with an annoying partner is to speak up. Speak up and share what's annoying about his or her behavior.
Express your feelings.
And why it's annoying. And what I would say is that, speaking up and saying what's annoying and why it's annoying is important. But I think that probably even more important is the approach in terms of how you do it. And so what I would recommend is that you lead with your deficits. You lead with he or she may have expressed is an annoying behavior that they experience within you. And so if you lead with that, then they're more likely to be receptive to what you're lifting up in terms of their annoying behavior. And so again, you want to be honest. You got to lift that thing up and express your feelings in terms of what their behaviors are that's irking your last nerve. Because if you don't, they ain't going to make no effort to change it. And even when you express it, there's a good chance, depending upon how much of a habit it has become, that they may not change it anyway. And so, but still, you want to make sure that you lift it up so that they're aware. And in doing that, please make sure you lift up some things that they may have expressed to you that they're having challenges with too.
Yeah. And again, that depends on what it is. So, for example, one of the things that, and this is not always consistent, but I know it happens enough that annoys me about my husband, is that I don't want to be able to visualize the food in your mouth when you're chewing and you're eating. I don't want to be able to visualize your broccoli dancing with the rice and, the fish, kind of all in there moving around together, doing somersaults in your mouth. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And I've been like that since, y'all know what I'm talking about. Have you ever been sitting next to somebody
I can't help it though,
and you can hear the food in their
I
mouth?
can't help it though.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? When I was little, my father Lord. My father would.
Crackers and tuna fish.
Oh my gosh, I would come home from school and my daddy would get this tuna fish and crackers, and I'd be sitting at the table in the kitchen doing my homework, and then he would sit down and, hey baby, I'm like, hey, and he would put his little tuna fish on the crackers and then put it and eat it, and I would hear every single chew. And do y'all know what I'm talking about? I don't want to hear that. And it would literally drive me crazy, And so my husband, not all the time, but depending on what he's eating, I can hear the food in this dude's mouth. I don't want to hear it, and it really annoys the hell out of me. Some of you, okay, I appreciate some of the some of the love I'm getting right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I just be like, oh my God.
But it's not smacking. I don't be smacking. My mama says smacking. I hate that too.
No, but sometimes
I don't be smacking.
I think some people just have juicy mouths. Like, I don't know what it is because he's not smacking.
I don't be smacking.
He has his mouth closed, but I can hear all of this stuff sloshing around in that joint. I'm like, what is going on? And I would look over him like, and I turn back away and he'll look at me. He know I'm looking at him like, yo. And so I don't know what it is. Some people just have juicy mouths and they just make way more noise than the average person. And sometimes that's my husband. But that type of thing, like, I can lift that up and express it. But if you were, lifting that up and trying to make that a thing, and like, I shouldn't have to hear that, and I come home at the end of the day, I don't want to hear that. Like, if it's all that, like, sit your ass down. Like, that's not something to make a big deal. But it's funny, because you can't control it. You can't. Well, you probably could get some lessons in chewing.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It might be the way you. I don't understand it. It's kind of an enigma to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how your mouth is closed and it's so noisy. I don't understand. but at the end of the day, it's not worth it to make it a thing. So y'all, I want you all to know. I think the essence of our message tonight is really this.
I've had to nudge you a couple of times in the middle.
I don't snore like that, so I don't know why you keep saying that.
Really, Joe? Really?
I don't. I'm never awake, so I have never heard it.
I'm gonna record you tonight, okay?
Yeah,
that's really annoying too, y'all.
I can't.
If you have a spouse that snores,
a spouse?
Yeah. If you have a spouse that snores. I've tried them a number of times. Have you ever nudged your spouse to try to get them to be quiet?
You do that to me?
Yes, I do. Oh. I do. And then after you nudge them, they get quiet for a second, and they go right back in the snore. I'm like throwing bows to my wife all night long. Like, shut up. But it's not all the time. It's really only when you're like extremely tired.
It would actually be helpful for you to tell me when I'm doing that, because I don't always know when I don't want you to record it.
I'm recording.
I just want to know. Post it on Facebook. You better not. I want to know when I'm extremely tired. Mm-hmm. I don't even know when I'm extremely. Sometimes I know, but sometimes I don't. It's helpful to know these things. So, at the end of the day, what we want you to know tonight is this: it's normal, and it is a part of the normal. Ebb and flow of being in a relationship, to be irritated, to be agitated. There are some things that you will need to lift up and some things that you will need to push forward, right? Absolutely. And there are some things that you just need to recognize they will always be a part of, the dynamic between you and your partner. And eventually you'll get to the place where you're able to actually laugh about it like we can now, and you're able to, say, hey, at the end of the day, it's not all that deep. So recognize that there is value. There's value in your being able to share what you're feeling, share what your experience is, to challenge your partner. But there's also value in you just learning how to fall back. Just fall back. You know what I'm saying? Look, and accept your partner for who they are. Yeah. Right? Because look, you want to get your partner to perhaps see some things and to shift some things that are heavy. If you are counting and taking note of all the petty stuff, you know what I'm saying? You're using up valuable energy that does not need to be used. I love how Carmen says, I recorded and videoed my husband snoring. And Tanisha says, when I eat some of my love's food after I ate my own plate already. Not a big battle at all. When I take all the covers in the bed space, not a major battle. Laugh out loud. So, there are all kinds of things that we do and that we really project onto our partner, or we deal with, or we put out. And look, it's going to always be there.
Mm-hmm.
Some things will dissipate. And if some things dissipate, something else going to come on the scene a little bit later on down the road. Trust and believe. That's how it is. That's what it means to be in a real relationship, to be in a real love relationship, real life, growing, loving. I don't have a word, but I wanted to do it to the beat. All right, y'all. We hope that this has been of help to you tonight.
Please share.
Please share this video. Please share this video. Drop your comments. If you have not checked out courageouscouplesretreat.com, we want you to go to courageouscouplesretreat.com. We have a few spots left for our retreat that we're doing in October at the Aquaba Mansion, Black-owned Aquaba Mansion in Pennsylvania. 14 rooms, beautiful grounds. 14 couples, including ourselves, will come together and we will do some amazing work, and we will have fun and keep it 100, and it'll be awesome. So come on and hang with us. courageouscouplesretreat.com. You can also hit us up at info@intentional.com to get more information. If you have questions after that, all that's on the website. And last but not least, to all my sisters, if you are a sister who is like me, confident and competent, yet you got some issues too, and we do the way we do, come on over to The Art of Overcoming with Iana Ma'at. The Art of Overcoming with Iana Ma'at on Facebook. And of course, if you're in the DMV and online, you can listen to my show, The Art of Overcoming, where I host this beautiful, amazing show every Monday on WPFW 89.3 FM that talks about how to overcome. So until next time, we will see you. Keep on pushing. Stop playing. I said it backwards.
Yeah, you did, man.
Peace out.
All right, y'all. Peace.